Why are you so good to me?
You're my girl.
I'll always be your girl.
I'll always be your girl. Goosebumps. We know this movie. That's Tom Hanks, the great, and Robin Wright, also great in the Oscar-winning film Forrest Gump. Now, 30 years later, can you believe it? It's been 30 years. They are reuniting with Forrest Gump director, that's Robert Zemeckis, and writer Eric Roth for a new film. It's called Here. So in this movie, they play Richard and Margaret, who fall in love very young. The film follows them and generations of families in the same living room as they experience love and loss, laughter over their lifetime. Tony and I talked to Tom and Robin Wright about the film's unique storytelling, how they transformed for the role, and what it was like working together again, you know, reunited and feel so good. We started with a look at the trailer.
You know, if you like, you could spend the rest of the night here.
I could spend the rest of my life here.
This was our home. We lived here.
Oh, wow. Tom.
Chills.
Hanks and Robin
Gosh,
Wright, welcome.
so good.
I can't wait for people to see this movie, Tony. Had you guys always been looking for a project to do together, or did Bob Zemeckis just say, hey, I got an idea? What happened?
I talk to Bob all the time about
Yeah.
every damn thing under the sun, and periodically we land on, you know, some theme. We were talking about this particular thing. I wonder if, how is it possible to tell a story in just like, kind of like a tableau style? And he said, funny you should mention that, Tom.
I was going to ask if you have a
he gave me Richard McGuire's graphic novel, and it took me. I had to read the first 3 pages about 5 times before I could realize, I see what's going on here. It's a story about time and life passing by one particular spot in the universe, and after that, it was like, well, how should I do it? You've worked with Bob almost as much as I have.
Yeah, what did you think, Robin?
When he called and said, hey, get the band back together, I was like, yes, for sure. And he's like, this has never been done before. I said, let's go. Let's take the ride. We have such faith in him because his imagination is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And he always makes movies that have the most heart, and they're funny,
Yep.
Yeah.
and they're realistic.
Yeah.
And this has all of that.
And I think it's important to say when we say, never seen anything like this, movie like this hasn't been done before, because it's shot in the same room with the same angle. Did you notice this, Tony? I had to actually go back and look at it again when they said there are no camera movements.
Yeah.
It's on the same shot the whole time. Yet when you're watching it, I didn't feel that. Did you?
No, what I love about it actually is the headspace it puts you in, because there's the one living room, but there's also all of time. I mean, you see the dinosaurs, you see an asteroid or a volcanic eruption or some kind of extinction event. It makes you feel big and small at the same time, and it imbues our lives with such significance.
We were making jokes when we were doing it because a lot of these scenes, they only last like 2 minutes, or, you know, and our job was to make them as lively as possible and real as possible. And we said, well, look, if it gets boring, Bob will just have a stegosaurus walk by the window, and then all the walls will disappear, and the primordial forest will grow, and we'll be back in the year 11,000 BC, and all will be well. We don't have to worry.
But then within the course of a human life, you have to play characters that are very young, teenagers, and then up to very old. We saw in the trailer there. That's a challenge. I know there's some
Tony,
digital
it depends
effects.
on your definition of very old. Because when I looked at it, I thought, okay, that's not that old.
They shuffled in with a walker. I thought that meant, I mean, that wasn't a...
That is officially old. It's one thing to see ourselves when we're 17, but it was something else to see ourselves at 35 and 42.
Yes.
Right when the metabolism stops, seizes up on you, right when
the pot belly.
gravity starts pulling you down,
Yeah.
right when you're exhausted from all these Goku kids that you've had, and they never go to sleep when you want to, and they're always asking for something. That exhaustion was the part that was difficult to play sometimes.
But sometimes, Robin, it's what happens is it's really just a moment in time. You know, in this movie, sometimes it's just one little moment that changes the trajectory of your life.
Yeah, and Bob puts it beautifully. He said, this really is a meditation in passing. Everything passes, and the only constant we have in our life is change.
Yeah.
Which is what we all experience. So I think everyone will relate to one aspect or 12 in this movie.
The thing that struck me, though, is to see the two of you guys back together again. Like when we played the Forrest Gump clip, did it bring back memories of working together with each other? And when you first saw each other, did it feel like riding a bike? Did it feel like very familiar to you working with him? Because I don't remember what the Forrest Gump was like. Did you spend a lot of time together?
We really
'Cause here
didn't.
you did.
I mean, we
No?
were always giggling in between takes. But he was off during lunch break with B camera running.
Oh, running. Run, Forrest, run.
Running. There's so much running to film.
Yeah.
We got to get him running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have any more time on the schedule.
What do
That
you all
kind of
hope
stuff.
people will get out of the movie?
I hope they see themselves. I mean, that's what I go to the movies no matter the gender of the characters or the culture that it's shot at. I want to see some aspect of my own struggles up there. Because when I do, it's like, I'm going through that same exact thing. Yeah. I'm going through the same thing that woman in, the middle of Malaysia is going through. And isn't that why we all go to the movies in the first place? To be unified with a bunch of strangers that are in the same room at the same time as we are.
That's the power of it, absolutely. And this is the power of a film.
You know, I feel kind of silly because, Tony, I didn't read anything about it, so I thought it was going to be tied to Forrest Gump in some way. And, of course, it is not that. So when you settle into it and you realize very quickly that that's not the case, but there's something very sweet and very longing to me when I watch the movie. And by the end, I had a huge lump in my throat because I'm not going to give away the ending, but I wanted a different kind of ending.
Yeah, I want to take my kids and my teenagers and my whole family, actually, on Friday. Gail doesn't think teenagers will like it. What do you think? Do you need to be older to appreciate
Gail,
this movie?
I've heard nothing but disappointments from you. It wasn't this, and I didn't know that, and this was going to happen, and the camera never moved. Oh, my Lord.
That's not true, because I said I love the movie.
And yet she loved the movie.
But because time is such an important element of it, do you think you need to have more time on this earth to appreciate it, or will
All
younger
right,
people
all right.
like it?
You know, the truth is,
Yes.
what is the most finite quality of our lives? Time.
Time.
We're running out of it. No matter how old we are, we only have so many minutes in order to appreciate each other. So what do you do with this time that we have?
Can we go to commercial, huh?
But can we do that? Can we all just do one quick experiment?
Okay. Yes.
Which is what Robin and I both had to do at
What?
some point in this movie.
What?
We had to leap out of chairs with the energy of excited 17-year-olds. All right?
You ready?
Let's
Don't
pretend.
hurt your leg.
do we have to leap
Yeah,
down?
we all gonna have to do
ankle
that.
okay?
All right, be careful with your feet. But
And
on
knees.
the, on
Be
the
careful
count
with
of
my
3,
knees.
go back in time when you're 17 years old and someone exciting just walked through the door and you have to say hello to Miss Passapasa. Ready?
Yeah. Okay, ready?
And 1, 2, 3.
Tom, I didn't get very far off the
She threw her
ground.
back out. Yeah.
Oh, you did good. You did
Oh,
good.
my back.
Your phone.
Tom, guess what? You didn't disappoint. Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, we thank you. Here is in theaters tomorrow.